Hi, welcome back. We're continuing to look at solving exponential equations. This is our final video of examples. In this video, we've got some examples that have fractions in them, which makes things a little bit more complicated, but it's still the exact same process. So my first example I want to look at is 1/5 raised to the x minus 5 is equal to 25 raised to the 3x plus 2. The first thing I need to do is identify a common base. So I am looking at these two numbers, and I am going to use a base of 5. So I need to be thinking 5 to what exponent is 1/5? And you need to remember that a negative exponent flips a fraction. So 5 to the negative 1 is equal to 1/5. This is going to end up being a very important thing to remember in a lot of these problems. Keep your mind open. If you have a fraction, think about a negative exponent. 25 I can write as 5 squared raised to the 3x plus 2. And now I need to kind of simplify this. So I have 5 raised to the negative 1 times x minus 5 is equal to 5 raised to the 2 times 3x plus 2. My bases are the same, so I'm ready to set the exponents equal. Negative 1 times x minus 5 is equal to 2 times 3x plus 2. Negative x plus 5 is equal, so I'm distributing in on both sides, is equal to 6x plus 4. I'm going to gather the x's on one side and everything else on the other. So subtract 4, that gives me 1. Add x, that gives me 7x. So 1 is equal to 7x. X is equal to 1/7. And if I go ahead and check this on my calculator, I have 1/5 raised to the 1/7 minus 5 and 25 raised to the 3 times 1/7 plus 2. I get the exact same number for both of them. Moving on to this problem, I have 2/3 raised to the 5x plus 1 and 27 over 8 raised to the x minus 4. When I have fractions like this, I like to try to use fractions greater than 1. I find it just to be a little bit more straightforward for me to make sure everything is working out the same. So I have 2/3 and 27 over 8. I am going to use a base of 3/2. So if 3/2 is my base here, 3/2 to what exponent is 2/3? I'm going to get 3/2 raised to the negative 1 is 2/3. So then I'm thinking about 27 over 8. 3/2 to what exponent is equal to 27 over 8? Well, I know that 3 cubed is 27 and 2 cubed is 8. So this is going to be 3/2 cubed is 27 over 8. So for the left-hand side, I'm going to have 3/2 raised to the negative 1 raised to the 5x plus 1 is equal to 3/2 cubed raised to the x minus 4. So remember, I said that I could replace 27 over 8 with 3/2 cubed, and I could replace 2/3 with 3/2 to the negative 1. So that's what I have done. Simplifying this down a little bit, I have 3/2 raised to the negative 1 times 5x plus 1 is equal to 3/2 raised to the 3 times x minus 4. My bases are the same, so I set my exponents equal. Negative 1 times 5x plus 1 is equal to 3 times x minus 4. Distributing in, I have negative 5x minus 1, 3x minus 12. Let's gather the x's on the right. So that will give me 8x. Gather everything else on the left. That'll give me 11. X is equal to 11 over 8. And let's check that out. So I have 2/3 raised to the 5 times 11 over 8 plus 1 and 27 over 8 raised to the 11 over 8 minus 4. And they both give me 0.0410. So again, this works.